Microphone check 212. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to It's the Bearded Man podcast with your favorite, the world's favorite bearded man, Bob Bay. We in the building, episode 49. I've been waiting all 48 episodes to get to this point, so 49, we in the building. How are you guys and gals doing? What's going on? It's your boy. We're back for another podcast. 2020 is still here, okay? It's December 3rd when this rolls out. We still got a full month to go. I don't want to hear no excuses. I don't want to hear any of y'all mailing it in already, okay? We're going to finish strong. We're going to go into 2021 full speed ahead. No excuses, okay? If you need anybody to hold you accountable, it's me. So anytime you feel like, oh, I'm just going to call it a day, that could wait till next year. No, you think of me. You think of this bearded face or you think of this bearded man voice, okay? I'm going to get on you guys and gals whether you realize it or not. We are finishing 2020 strong. Everyone's about to mail it in. It's December, Christmas is here, just finished Thanksgiving, my stomach's full, blah, 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 blah. Not happening on my watch. We're going strong, baby. All right, episode 49. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get through some housekeeping and then we'll get into the podcast. Speaking of Thanksgiving and stomachs being full, if you are in the U.S., which, because we are a worldwide podcast, that's right. I know some of y'all are surprised hearing that, but I was checking out the demographic of where people were situated that have been listening to this podcast. We're touching all over the globe, baby, all over. We're going to keep growing one episode at a time. If you are in the U.S. and you did celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you guys and gals had a great Thanksgiving with family and friends and enjoyed the downtime and relaxed and ate a lot of food and put yourself into a food coma. It is okay. It's the entire purpose of the holiday other than being grateful for the people you're around and, a lot of amazing things. So I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I was very fortunate. Went down to, I know because so many of you care so much, right? You're like, bearded man, what did you do? Please let us know. I'm going to tell you. I went down to Newport Beach, Laguna Beach area. A cousin of mine was in town visiting his father, who is technically a cousin to me, but his father, I'd call him an uncle. He was down in Newport, went down and met those guys. Then we went to some other family in like Laguna and pretty much had 2 full days down there and just absolutely incredible, unbelievable. I was down in Newport for the first time in October, right at the top of October, and then went back down. And man, I just remember growing up, like looking at pictures of Newport and Laguna as a kid, and now to like be there and we saw the sunset on Laguna Beach. I'm just like, what in the world? How did I get here, Bob? Bob, how did you manage to get here? Just this incredible sunset. The moon was up. Bob was catching a vibe, and man, it's just incredible. But it was a really great 2 full days with some family, especially this is family of mine that I didn't really necessarily grow up with and have been getting to know the SoCal Hobarts. So shout out to the Hobarts one time, okay? I don't really, that's not loudly in my brand, I'm the bearded man, I'm Bob A, but I'm Bobby Hobart. Sounds very basic, but I love it. I'm proud to be a Hobart, and I'm proud to have some family out here. We did come back, and we had back-to-back pods. Cue up, Drake. Back-to-back, something. How did that go? I forget. Wow, I'm cooked. But we had back-to-back pods this weekend, both incredible episodes. We had my man Dalton Misner. Did I pronounce his name wrong? Dalton, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. I don't know why. I think it's either Misner or Meisner. I think it's Misner. He's probably going to kill me for this. It's okay. Great guy. Have known him for close to 2 years at this point. Had a great conversation with him on Saturday, and then on Sunday, we had the talented Alexa Soul come through, and she is the person that has been tattooing me and making my tattoos look so beautiful. And I actually had met Alexis through podcasting back in March of 2018, so it was incredible to pretty much do a 3-year recap and a lot of growth for the both of us, and I'm excited. Both of those podcasts will be coming out at the top of 2021. We will be going on a 2-week hiatus, so just a little heads up. No Bearded Man content for the last 2 weeks of the year, but hey, it's okay. You guys and gals are going to be fine. You got plenty more podcasts to listen to. You're probably like, yo, we're sick of this anyway. We don't need it, but you do love it because you're listening right now. So there will be a 2-week break coming, and we'll come back full throttle at the top of the new year. I got some great podcasts that I'm in the process of lining up. But other than that, it was a low-key weekend. It was very good, very fulfilling, you know what I'm saying, getting these podcasts done episode by episode. And then today we dropped episode 48 with Stephen Vigilante. Okay, he is the growth marketing manager for Olipop. If you're not familiar with Olipop, it's going to become your new best soda replacement. If any of you guys and gals drink soda, this is going to be your replacement. It is a healthy alternative. I believe it's 35 calories a can, and it has, I believe, depending on the can that you get, 4 grams of sugar, and they have 6 to 7 flavors: cola, root beer, orange soda. I mean, incredible. And the actual beverage, Scout's Honor, is incredible. I think that's what you say, Scout's Honor, when you're holding a truth. Am I wrong? Somebody fact check me. Anyway, incredible beverage. But to sit down with Steven, get to hear his story. He had bounced around to 4 different careers before landing this opportunity with Olipop. Kind of just goes to show you every path is different. And I love meeting people like him who he's bounced around from job to job, career to career. And it's always been like this work in progress. And now he's really found a sweet spot. And he's also an investor. So I got his take on just investing. And it was just an overall incredible podcast, because what else are we doing here? We're pumping out incredible content. So I hope you guys and gals get a chance to go check that out. It was a great episode. So shout out to Steven, episode 48. And he also gave a promo code Steven20 for Olipop, 20% off your order online. And I'm not here to promote it. That's not an advertisement. I just, I appreciate people that take the time to be part of my podcast, the Bearded Man podcast. And I want to show support to them and whatever endeavors that they have going on. So if you need a beverage, Olipop. You need some tattoos, hit up Alexa Soul. And if you need some visual content, hit up my boy Dalton. It's the one-stop shop. The Bearded Man's got everything you could ask for. Yeah, baby. Today's topic. Unintentionally, with Thanksgiving being at the end of November, which is a very grateful holiday, we're supposed to spend it with family and friends and be grateful for the people in our life. It just so happened to be the same month that I got inspired to do a full month of gratitude journaling. So today, when this is recorded, November 30th, we have completed 30 days of consistent daily gratitude journaling. Mission complete, baby. We did it. We completed the mission. We set out to do morning gratitude journal every single day, and we did it. We held ourselves accountable. I have really enjoyed doing these challenges. Definitely am pulling a page out of Matt Diavella's book, in the sense of he did this all through 2018 or 2019. God, the years just blend now. I think through 2019, somebody that I know, his name's Matt Diavella, filmmaker, creative, pretty much did these monthly challenges through the entire year. And I kind of got inspired. I like the idea of like these challenges that we challenge ourselves. That's the point, right? And in the past, if you've been listening to the podcast or paying any attention to this guy with a beard from Massachusetts, living in LA, me, bless your soul if you have been paying attention. I did 100 Days of Sweat, and I talked about that on episode 17 of this podcast. I then did 75 Days of No Booze, which I talked about on episode 35. And I was looking for this next challenge, and I didn't know what it was going to be. And then I came across an Instagram story post of a recent past guest by the name of Kaylee Christina. Shout out to you, Kaylee, if you ever hear this. She was episode 40 of this podcast, and she had posted an IG story of her doing her morning gratitude journaling, and she didn't post her, like, what she was actually going to write out, but she posted the template that she was using. And it's so interesting how social media works, because sometimes you just need to see something and it impacts you. And that's why I document a lot of my life, and I put a lot of stuff on Instagram. I have no idea how it impacts people, and I may never know, but I have seen the value of the people that I follow on social media and seeing them do certain things in their life that it's inspired me. And I've never directly hit them up. I've never DM'd them, but I've seen it positively impact me. So I try to do the same. I try to just document my day-to-day life, and I try to share my bearded wisdom, my bearded 2 cents, in the hopes it's valuable, helpful to other people. Similarly, Kaylee unintentionally just posts this story without probably knowing that it was going to impact the bearded man. And I loved it. And it was rated towards the end of October. Started doing it for a couple of days, and I said, you know what? This is going to be the next challenge. Let's do it for a full month, and let's see how it goes. And I was curious, would journaling every morning positively help me? I've heard it in podcasts. I've heard people talk about doing some type of journaling, whether it's morning and night. I've also done this in the past where I kind of just did like a free flow journal where I just would fill out one full page of thoughts. But I really like this template. So I was like, let me give this a go. And I was just curious, would I feel different in my day? Was it worth me spending, 5 to 10 minutes every morning doing this, or did it feel like a waste of time? And I knew that there was only one way to find out, and I'm just going to go do it. I'm going to commit to 30 days. It's not that long, but it's enough to see a difference. And so how did it go? Well, that's the whole point, baby. That's why we're here. Strap in, baby. We got a full podcast to dive in. But before we do, as you guys and gals know, I got one little favor to ask. One small little favor. All that I ask, if at any moment during this podcast you enjoy it, I make you laugh, you scratch your head thinking, why am I listening to this podcast? You're entertained, you're learning something, you're inspired, you are filling any emotion. All that I ask, please screenshot this episode, post it to your IG story, tag me at Babe, B-O, 3 B's, 4 A's, and a Y, and it helps grow this podcast organically. Once again, if at any moment in time, even right now, in this moment in time, you're like, this guy's cooked, perfect, I got an emotion out of you, screenshot this episode, post it to your IG story, tag me at Babe, B-O, 3 B's, 4 A's, and a Y, and share it out and let the world know that you're tuning in to the Bearded Man podcast. And I greatly appreciate it. All right. Quick water break per usual, and then we're diving in. You notice how I don't cut out any of this podcast? I really appreciate the natural, organic, raw. You know, me sipping water, you guys are like, don't care to hear it. But hey, it makes it feel real. Why I'm whispering, I don't know. Here we go. Crank up the heat. Let's get this thing going. So 30 days of consistent daily gratitude journaling. The template that I was following, like I said, stole this right from Kelly Christina, shared on her Instagram story, and I was like, this is incredible. I need it. I want it. I'm going to use it. So I took that template, which I'll dive into in a second, and I'll also provide it in the show notes if anybody's interested or wants to follow along or wants to take it and run with it. And I was like, it's a 5-part template. And I said, okay, cool. This is the template. This is what I'm going to do. Very key, though. Very key into this journaling process, 30 days, was that I actually wrote this out in handwriting in a notebook that I have. That's a nice small journaling notebook for something like this. And although my handwriting is terrible, like I honestly, if I flip back on the last 30 days, it's terrible. My handwriting is horrible. I'll be the first to admit it. There is some weird vibe and feeling when you actually have to write it out. So had I done this journaling on my notes app or like on a Word doc, I don't think it would have had the same effect as it did with me actually having to write it. And I think with having to write it, because typing you can just go so quick and you can force the words out on that piece of paper or, on your document, I had to slowly and steadily like do this, right? And so I'm thinking word for word, letter by letter. I have to physically write it out. And I think, and I noticed this hack when I was in college, when I had to study for a big exam, I would write things out multiple times and it would help like plant the seed in my head. And man, do I not miss those days. Oh, excuse me, my God. I do not miss studying stuff like that. Just like straight cramming for an exam. No bueno, no good. Don't miss it. But I think actually writing out the journaling was very important. And it forced myself to be present and write it out word for word. And you better believe I had to scratch a lot of words out because I couldn't even reread it. And I made adjustments and whatnot. Or my mind was thinking 16 sentences ahead and I'd have to dial it back and scratch out the sentence and rewrite it. But ultimately, I think it was very important that I had to actually write out the journal. That was just something that I knew that I had to do, so I did it. 5 sections of the template. Number 1 was grateful, right? So the first section was grateful, and there were 3 bullets every day. These changed from day to day. And also, let me remind you, I did this every single morning after I worked out and meditated, so it helped give me good intention for the day. Could you do it? Could I have done it in the middle of the day, at the end of the day? Sure. But I found and I knew that doing it in the morning was going to be the best time of day. It was going to help build momentum for my day. So great. So the first section, grateful. 3 bullets every day. These changed day to day. They for sure changed. It kind of just matter. It kind of was just like what's on the top of my mind. So for example, some days it could be, bullet would be my health. Another bullet could be my mind. Another bullet could be the house that I live in. Could be my bed. Could be the breakfast I had this morning. It was about having gratitude for just the little things that I could easily just take for granted. So that was always changing. And as I'll get through the other sections, some other sections didn't change as much, but for the grateful section, it always changed, and it definitely was relevant to what was ever on my mind or maybe something that had happened in the last 24 hours. Second section, positive experience in the past 24 hours. I think we've all potentially, if you're listening to this podcast, you probably have heard or seen about, gratitude journaling. I have always seen write out things you're grateful for. I had never really seen a positive experience in the past 24 hours, and this was something that I really enjoyed. This changed daily. So I was essentially writing every morning about an experience that happened in the past 24 hours, so something that had happened the day before. Ends up being around 5 sentences, and I would just recap something positive that had happened. So this could have been, for example, recording a podcast yesterday with X guest. I would write out 5 sentences, what that experience was like, how it was positive, just overall, just forcing myself to remember what I did yesterday and show gratitude for whatever that might be. Another could have been, I had an unexpected call with my mom. So maybe the next day I took a moment to appreciate that. And that was the positive experience in the past 24 hours. I'm sorry. I'd say this. I think every solo podcast, I get very excited with these podcasts. So if I butcher or I screw up words or I'm just running 1,000 miles an hour, please just stick with me. Okay. I get too excited for this stuff. Another example was if I got a DM that I received on Instagram about, positive feedback, maybe wrote about that. Or if I had a call on behalf of Liquid IV and it was something that was really good and very positive. It was essentially just anything that positively impacted the day before. I took a moment to appreciate it and write about it and remind myself hey, bearded man, be appreciative. Be grateful for this positive experience that happened yesterday, because it's very easy to just keep moving forward and we always got things to do. This was a good moment to stop and appreciate it. Third section was excited for. I like this one. 3 bullets every day. And these change day to day. What am I excited for in this very moment? Some things that I saw, for example, would be I was writing the day ahead of me, the podcast guests I had lined up for that night, something recent, my 27th birthday's coming up. Yeah, buddy, December 11th, sent through the gifts. I'll take whatever you want to give me. Another, something that recently has been popping up was heading back east for the holidays. I think sometimes a lot of the excitement is just the build up to that event and just reminding myself I'm excited to go see my family and be back for the holidays. And the one that showed up a lot, and these changed every day, was the one that showed up the most was the day ahead of me. And I really liked that one because obviously there's days where you wake up and you feel very excited. You have something on your calendar, you're I can't wait for this later today, or whatever it might be. There's some days you're more excited than others. But taking that moment to write that out and just have appreciation for the day ahead of me and, what opportunities might lie ahead, I thought that was a good, kind of pep talk. Yo, bearded man, you got a day ahead of you. Don't waste it. Take advantage of this opportunity. And so I like that one. That one showed up a lot. Number 4, the 4th section, priorities. Love this one. 3 bullets every day, just as well. These stay the same for me for almost all 30 days. I think it could change for everybody, but I found that these 3 priorities were really important to me. And so I found myself consistently reminding myself and writing these out. Number 1, this was the number 1 section every single time. Self-love and investing in myself, reminding myself daily. Giving myself that self-love and investing in myself, reading books, listening to podcasts, just trying to be my biggest high man. And I don't mean self-love in the sense of hugging myself to sleep, but trying to be a better person to myself. Instead of being so self-critical, which I think we all do, have more self-love. Like, be appreciative of my strengths. I feel very fortunate that I'm a curious person, that I'm very confident in my skin, like reminding myself of those strengths, not in some cocky way, but like showing appreciation and once again, the investing in myself. Like, it's very easy to get distracted on what other people are doing and trying to control the uncontrollables and things in our lives. But I was trying to control the things that I could control, and that was investing in myself, reading and learning and soaking up that knowledge. Number 2, it was following in the priority section, was building community and saying yes more. Granted, we are in the midst of a pandemic. I get it. I've had a lot of incredible opportunities to meet a lot of amazing people in the last couple months. Joining a running club, going and playing beach volleyball a lot, meeting people at the beach. Luckily, SoCal, we can spread out. The weather's good. Everyone's outdoors. And learning to be a yes person and saying yes to opportunities instead of no. It's just been really important for me in the last couple months, and I've met a lot of amazing people, some of which you'll be hearing on the podcast moving forward. Third and last bullet was be present and have patience. They kind of go hand in hand, but once again, it kind of goes back to the last section of like looking forward to the day ahead of me. That was something that I've been trying to remind myself. Be present. Love the 24 hours ahead of you. Appreciate it. Make the best of it. Some days they might feel better than others, but I'm trying to train my mind and myself to just be as excited every single day and replicate that feeling and emotion no matter what I have in front of me that day. If I have a full pack day, I'm pumped. If I have nothing that day, I'm pumped. Trying to replicate every single day, and also having patience, right? It's very easy for us to get worked up thinking about all the things we want to do in the other areas of our life that aren't where we want it to be, and reminding myself, bearded man, you gotta be patient. Don't force it. Don't force it. Last section, impact. Loved this section. Clearly, I've loved every section. Impact. 5 sentences of how I want to impact the world, strangers, family, coworkers. That was the way I looked at it. I didn't see anything else in this post by Kaylee except impact, and that's what I ran. That's where I ran with it. So this essentially was the same every day, but because I had to write, I wrote 3 to 5 sentences on it. It kind of changed every day as well. So along the lines was that I was writing about wanting to have a positive impact on anyone that I came into contact with, whether it was in an Instagram DM, whether it was on the street when I'm running, whether it's in an email, a G chat, a text, anyone that I have some point of contact with, trying to impact them in a positive way, whether it's smiling at them, whether it's asking them how their day is going, whether it's holding the door open. How can I be a light in every single person's life that I come into contact with? Not in the light because I think I'm some hot shit and I'm the bearded man. Oh, he's so cool. But how can I push more positive energy into this world when we need it now more than ever? So writing that out and reminding myself in the beginning of the day was really helpful. Also along the lines of, being an example for others to be their most authentic self. It's been a long time coming for me to get to this place in my life where I feel very okay to be my authentic self. But there was a time when I wasn't that okay. And so through the content that I shared through, podcasting, Instagram, through my wild stories of me dancing in the mirror, I hope you get a laugh. I hope I can be an example for other people to be their authentic self. So that's a way I'd like to impact people. And then lastly, just leading by example to take care of your mental and physical health. You probably see me posting my daily workouts, and it's really to help motivate people to get off their butt and get out and get some physical fitness in, or whether it's mental, talking about, how meditation has impacted my life, or any time that I've had, my own hiccups and my own days where they weren't great, share it and post about it and show people that, I am human. I'm like all of you guys and gals. So that was the format. Once again, I will have this in the description of the podcast, and if it's something you want to, see and try, it'll be there for you. Couple takeaways from the entire experience. Number 1, without a doubt, 10% lift in happiness. There's no question about it. I think reminding myself of all the amazing things that I should be grateful for daily allowed me to ground myself in the present. So doing those 3 things I'm grateful for in the first section was really important. It changed every day, but it gave me a moment to appreciate, like, hey, I was able to run today. I should be appreciative that I have a body that is healthy enough to do that. Or, having gratitude to have financial stability in a time like this. Like, you should be appreciative that you have a job, and just anything that would fall under there. I think thinking back on positive experience in the past 24 hours made me more appreciative of the day-to-day moments that, like I said, we could take for granted. Reminding myself of the good things that were coming up got me excited for the future. So, even though I'm big on being present, it's also cool to remind yourself of what's coming up, whether it's that day, next week, or the following month. Gives you a little bit of an extra ounce of, it's like a caffeine kick almost, like, because you're just like, yo, I can't wait, freaking pumped. Refreshing my mind daily on my personal priorities gave me a sense of direction. So always regrounding myself of what are my priorities: self-love, investing in myself, building community, reminding myself of like what my true north is so that I can make better decisions throughout the day when opportunities present themselves. And thinking about the impact I want to have on a high level allowed me to make a better decisions on my day-to-day interaction with people. Like I said, impact-wise, I want to positively uplift people in my day-to-day interactions. I want to be an example to people that it is okay to live your most authentic self life, and that you should do it regardless of what people around you say. If people are judging you, no, be who you really are. Would you rather live a life being the person you truly are, or would you rather live a life being somebody that everyone wants you to be? And I feel very fortunate because I think there are people potentially that live their whole life being somebody they aren't, when in reality, they just need a little bit of ounce of confidence and a little bit of push in the right direction that you can be your most authentic self and live a happy life. So all that to say, just doing this morning gratitude journaling, for without a doubt, 10% lift in happiness in my day-to-day, because on top of all my morning routines, which I've talked about in other podcasts, and I'm not going to bore you, this also being added to the mix was just giving me so much good intention for the day, so that when I was ready to start work, ready to tackle whatever's in front of me that day, I just felt more present. I felt more appreciative of what that day had in front of me, and I was ready to go. Second takeaway was swap the negative lens for a positive one. It is very, very easy to see all the negative and only focus on the things that aren't going the way we wished. We have all these great things happening in our life, but it's that one thing that's not going the way we wished, and we're disappointed. Whether it's we didn't land the job we applied for, we didn't get the promotion we wished for, we didn't land the date after sending that Hail Mary, been there, done that, baby. We didn't get the PS5 because it's sold out. Whatever it might be, it's very easy to lean in and gravitate towards the negative stuff. But don't do that to yourself. I'm reminding myself daily, swap out that negative lens and look for the positive. So when you do that, you start to see all the good things that are happening in your life. And I talked about this concept of the winning streak on last week's pod for episode 47. Freaking loved it so much, I got it tatted on my right leg. And that's exactly what that's all about. The winning streak is consciously making an effort to see all the good in your life. All the good. If it's something good is happening in your life, take a note. Take a moment to appreciate it, whether you got that cup of coffee, whether you had a great meeting, whether you had a great phone call with your mom, whatever it might be. That's part of the winning streak. That's something positive. Don't get caught up focusing on the negative. I've been there. I've done that. Meditation has for sure helped me, where it's like recognizing a negative thought and letting it go and not holding on to it and not letting it stick to my mind, which then ruins my day. I let that shit sail, baby. Keep sailing down the Charles River of Boston. I don't want you. Positive lens has allowed me to count up all the blessings, though. It's just, being granted a day of opportunity ahead of me. That's a blessing. Having a roof over my head, having a bed to sleep in, having food in the fridge. Once again, that's more of like I was talking about with the gratitude journaling, but swapping out that negative lens, instead of wearing negative binoculars, looking around my life, looking for all the BS that's happening and getting ticked off and worked up, I'm actually using positive binoculars and I'm looking for all the good. I'm looking for the good and I'm taking note of it and I'm counting it up. So swap out the negative lens for a positive one. That was a big takeaway. Number 3, my number one priority always is focus on myself. That's why I live by this whole you win the morning, you win the day. Talked about it plenty of times. You guys are probably sick of it. It's not about what you do. It's not about what time you wake up. It's about what you spend the first couple hours of your day doing. I think that builds momentum, and if we can win our morning, we can win the rest of the day. But by reminding myself of my priorities daily, I started to realize the importance of focusing on myself. That self-love, that investing in myself bullet that I was talking about earlier, it allowed me to become a better me, right? Now, it can sound selfish, right? But by me being my most authentic self and doing my absolute best, I can be of service to the world even better, right? We think, if we're just investing in ourselves, we're only focused on ourselves, how are we going to help anybody? We've all heard this before, I'm sure many of times, that when you're on an airplane, they talk about, if the oxygen mask drop from the thing above you, put on your oxygen mask before you help other people. It's very similar. We need to focus on ourselves. We have to put on our oxygen mask, check off all those boxes first before we can be in a space to help other people. And what do I mean by that? I can lead by example that it's okay to be our most authentic self. I can lead by example that we can find a way to make a living doing what we love. I can lead by example that taking care of your mental and physical health is crucial. I can lead by example by me becoming the greatest version of myself. So me prioritizing myself first before anyone else, before anything else, that is crucial. It's crucial for my well-being, and it's crucial for the way I impact the world. Because if I don't even have my own self centered, locked in, operating at my highest level, how do I expect to help other people? I can't give you energy unless I get that energy brewing. And the way I get the energy brewing is by focusing on myself, getting my workouts, reading books, meditating, journaling. That's when all the energy is created. And then I'm like an Energizer bunny. I'm ready to spread it like wildfire, baby. So I think that was something that I realized, and it was super important. And I want to give a shout out to my man, Ben Nemton, who I had interviewed back in August of 2019. He was one of the creators of The Buried Life. If any of you guys and gals watched that on MTV, it probably was around the 2010 era. And essentially, long story short, Ben and 3 of his buddies had taken a tour bus style from like the 70s, this purple bus, and they traveled the U.S. and they created a show which was crossing off their bucket list. And when they would cross off their own bucket list, they would also help a stranger cross off something on their bucket list. But something that he talked about during that podcast was that, this isn't quote word for word, but something along the lines of, at the time, he could think that like, I'm selfish for chasing my dreams. We're selfish for crossing off our bucket list and focusing on ourselves. But something that he said that really stuck with me was that by them following and chasing after their bucket list, they empowered and inspired others to do the same. So by them sharing their message and sharing their day-to-day hustle of chasing their dreams, they gave people permission to do the same. Like, oh shit, Ben and the boys are chasing their dreams. Why can't I? Ben and the boys played basketball with Barack Obama. Why can't I? Ben and the boys did $1 million other things. Why can't I? So by Ben and the rest of his team crossing off those bucket list items, they were able to not only help themselves, but they were able to They were able to help others and give them permission to do the same. So that's something that I really realized. Me focusing on myself, best thing that I can do. If I want to impact the world in any way, I first need to focus on me, and then I can focus on helping anyone else. So that was really, really important. My number one priority always, focus on myself. Let's go. Number 4 and final takeaway that I had from the experience, pump the brakes and slow down, killer. Pump the brakes and slow down. If I can't spare 5 to 10 minutes every morning to reground myself and actually like take time to write in this journal, I'm moving way too fast. If I can't spend 5 to 10 minutes to write out a journal that's going to positively help me, something's got to give. I need to slow down. Because slowing down allowed me to reflect and think about how much I've accomplished in my own life, right? Done in the past where I wake up, get ready to work. Start working, day goes by, go to sleep, do it all over again. It's just constantly going, and then burnout hits. But by me slowing down and thinking about where I came from and having that moment to reflect on whatever, the things I'm grateful for, the positive experience, it's honestly forcing me to fall in love more with the day-to-day journey. And it could be little things, or it could be me like thinking on the bigger picture, like, wow, just over a year ago, I was driving Uber full-time for 3+ years. I did 19,002 total rides under my belt. And now I'm the podcast performance manager for the fastest growing hydration brand in the world, aka Liquid IV. And I don't flex the title thinking I'm some hot boy. I share that because it's just an example. I'm looking at this in front of my laptop right now, and I still can't believe I see Uber driver and then I see podcast performance manager within 2 lines. It is mind-boggling because I never ever imagined that happening, but I just got to work and I did what I needed to do. But if I continue along this path with this work ethic and mindset, the possibilities are endless. That's what it's showing me by slowing down and thinking about where I came from to where I am and reminding myself that if I keep putting in this work and I keep honing in on my mindset and getting stronger and smarter in every bucket of my life, the possibilities are endless. The sky is the limit. Did Kanye West say that? I think he said it. I don't know. I could be wrong. So I need to take time daily to slow down and appreciate the journey brick by brick. Very, 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 very important because like I said, easy to get caught up in the day-to-day. There's always more work to be done. There's always fires that need to be put out. But pausing for a second to reflect every morning allowed me to appreciate the day and be much more at ease and have more gratitude in the day-to-day life. It's by appreciating the 24 hours ahead of us. So to recap, 30 days of morning gratitude journaling, huge takeaways. Number 1, without a doubt, 10% lift in happiness, whether it be reminding myself of the things I was grateful for, reflecting on positive experiences that had happened in the past 24 hours, or what I was excited for, or some of my own priorities, or the way I wanted to impact the world. Easy 10% lift in happiness, without a doubt. Number 2 was swap out the negative lens for a positive one. So very easy to just look for the negative that are things that are happening in our life, whether we didn't land the job we applied for, whether we didn't get the promotion we wished for, whether we didn't land the date and we sent that Hail Mary. Swap out the lens, look at the positive things, look at all the good things that are happening in your life and soak that up. Number 3, my number 1 priority always is focus on myself. I cannot help anybody else in this world until I help myself. And so as long as I focus on myself, I can be a better person of service. But it's very, very important. Number 4th and final big takeaway from the experience, pump the brakes, killer, and slow down. It's very easy to, in the day-to-day grind, just go to sleep, wake up, do it all over again. Go to sleep, wake up, do it all over again. Slow down, take 5 to 10 minutes to appreciate the moment, to fall in love with the day-to-day journey, to get hyped for the 24 hours ahead of us, and get back to work. Incredible experience. I challenge all of you, if you've made it this far in this podcast, bless your soul. Thank you for riding with me. But please, try 30 days straight of consistent gratitude journaling. I suggest the morning. Totally up to you. If it fits better at a different part of the day, maybe you want to do it at night and helps you go to sleep with more appreciation, helps you wake up more fired up, please. But I like doing the morning because it helps set good intention for the day. But find what works best for you. And like I said, I will have the format that I used in the description of the podcast. Thank you to Kaylee Christina, because without you posting that on your IG story, I never would have done this. And so if you want to take that format and try it, please do. I'm a big fan. If you want to try a different format, please do. Find what works best for you. But I think just taking a moment every single day to reflect is crucial. And I'll tell you right now, this 30-day challenge is for sure moving forward as a daily habit, Monday through Sunday. There's no questions about it. Sometimes with working out, I allow myself a day off here and there if I need it. I've been kind of changing things up and really trying to get like almost 6 days a week, almost 7, which has felt great. I'm like getting addicted to endorphins, but this journaling, without a doubt, for the rest of my life, I will forever be carrying a journal with me. So thank you, Kaylee Christina, for sharing. And it was just incredible. Before we get into the question from the BMC, quick little water break. You know what I'm saying? It's so good and it's free. I love you, water. Yeah, baby. We got 2 questions from the BMC. That's the Bearded Man community for all you new folks. Welcome aboard. Shout out to my man Ray Vans. He said, did it ever feel like a chore / burden to set aside time for this? Ray Vans, that is a great question. This is what I do. When I want to commit to something in my life, whether it's fitness, whether it's meditating, whether it was journaling, I'm so, like, I'm my biggest critic. And so when I tell myself I want to commit to doing something daily or weekly, I do it. I just commit to it. I don't make any excuses. And if I slip and I miss, it eats me alive. So I found a time of day right between after I eat breakfast and before I actually start working for Liquid IV. I found a pocket that I could squeeze this in. And so it never felt like a burden or a chore, because in order to create a new habit and something that is part of our lives that we almost feel lost without it, is I think the best is scheduling it into your day, because you know where you're supposed to be and when, and there's no excuses. So I know every single morning when I wake up, I got to work out, and then I don't have to worry about finding the motivation to work out. I don't have to worry about skipping it because I just didn't have the time to fit it in. Once it's locked in on my calendar, there's no way I'm missing it. And so that's how I stayed accountable to actually doing it. It never felt like a chore, never felt like a burden, because I instantly, after day 1, was feeling the benefit of doing it. And so I said, I'm going to do this every single day. And I squeezed it into my routine, and the rest is history. So it didn't ever feel like a chore or a burden to set aside time for it, because I was seeing the benefits and I knew it was positively benefiting me. Number 2 and final question from the BMC, coming from the man himself, Steven Vigilante, from the podcast that dropped today, episode 48, the growth marketing manager himself of Olipop. He said, did you ever feel like you ran out of things to write about? That's a great question, Steven. As I talked about earlier, there were certain areas that forever felt like the same, which was the priorities stayed the same and the impact kind of stayed the same. And I wasn't mad that they never changed, because I just realized they were that important to me that I needed to remind myself daily, like, this is my priorities, this is the impact I want to have. And then when it came to like the gratitude, I never ran out of things, because I think the key is getting really specific. So the grateful thing, it could have been, I'm telling you, I mean, I got as specific as, I'm grateful for the sunshine. I'm grateful for living in Los Angeles, California. I'm grateful to own a mic so that I can podcast. I'm grateful that there is Olipop in the fridge. There actually wasn't, but you see what I did there, Steven? A nice little plug. I got really granular about things that I was grateful for. So I never ran out of things to write about. Definitely the impact section, the last section of the journal. I felt like I was every day trying to creatively think of a new way to say, like, I want to impact the world positively. I want to uplift people. I want to give people energy. I was definitely trying to find different ways to say it, but other than that, honestly, I never ran out of things. There was always something to say, and it's probably because I'm just who I am. I just want to share my voice, and I want to share my bearded wisdom with the world, my 2 cents. So I never ran out of things to write about, but that's a great question, Stephen. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. 30 days of gratitude journaling in the books for the bearded man. What's the next challenge going to be? I don't know yet, but I got to find something ASAP. Actually, I got to try to find something before I go to sleep, because tomorrow's December 1st, and I want to start a new challenge. So I don't know what it's going to be, but I'll find it. I hope you guys and gals enjoy this podcast. I really, really, really do challenge you guys and gals to consider starting a gratitude journal, and you don't need to wait for the first of the month to do it. You could start at this moment in time whenever you hear this podcast and go 7 days straight, go 10, go 15, make up a number in your head, stay committed to it, find a way to structure it into your day, and that's how you build on a new habit. But I hope you guys and gals enjoyed this podcast. As always, please, if you enjoyed it, screenshot the episode, post it to your IG story, tag me at BobA, B-O, 3 B's, 4 A's, and a Y. Grow this podcast organically. I think Drake said that if the Bearded Man gets enough reshares and reposts, he will come onto the podcast. So I need your guys and gals' help so I can get the sixth guy on here. So share out the podcast, post it to your IG story, tag me at BobA, B-O, 3 B's, 4 A's, and a Y, and I would greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it. This is the first episode of December. Like I said in the beginning of this podcast, we're going full throttle for the rest of the year. I don't want no excuses. I don't want to hear you guys and gals mailing it in a week, 2 weeks into December. Full throttle until that ball drops, okay? Stick with me. Let's keep rocking and rolling. We got 2 full more weeks of content. We're going on a 2-week hiatus, and then we'll be back at the top of January, full throttle. So let's enjoy this ride, and let's crush the rest of 2020. Thank you guys and gals for tuning in. It's your favorite bearded man, Bob Bay. Catch you guys and gals soon enough. See ya!